hide you. And the blackened eyes make my way into your mind, just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
My iPad closed on me. So fix that right now. And also need to, I have two. I might just have to move to OBS, to be honest. Like, Streamlabs ain't cutting it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I gotta fix this. Oops. I want to connect stream screen. Sorry, I should pop up here in a second. Maybe I won't. Hey, there we go. Sorry, the screen's a little wonky. I was trying to get it so the screen capture for some reason doesn't like capture. It doesn't enlarge it to fit the the window. It's weird, but I'll play with it another time. It might just be the app I'm using too. But it works for now. That's all that matters. Okay, so and if you're wondering, I'm streaming from. I'm using the screen from my iPad. That's where I like get all my stuff from, really. Anyways, as I was saying, okay, so some topics for today. Some Doge updates. The Mayor Adams here in the NYC, here in New York. The quid pro quo. Um, FAA updates. Farmers upset. Special elections that are happening this year in a couple months, I believe. And then maybe some other things, but we'll just kind of go down the line, see how it goes. I think last time I was here for like an hour. Probably do about another hour, maybe a little longer. Just depends really. Of course, if any questions and whatnot, feel free to ask. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, Doge updates. Should probably get threads on here so you guys can see some of the thread stuff. So before I kind of really kind of look up any articles here, the White House. Oh wait, perfect. What I was just gonna talk about. So the White House apparently. Um, so you know how the courts have kind of come in and said, "Hey, Elon can't do that." Well, of course, White House is gonna challenge. Again, the ultimate goal here is to gain authority practically in every branch of government. Um, so in response, they submitted some court documents. As you can see here, it says who's in charge, Doge, not Elon Musk White House, because what the White House did was submit court documents, basically saying that Elon has no part in or no say or no authority in the Doge administration, right? Or Doge, whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know what it is anymore. Um, so yeah, I guess according to the White House, on a technicality, he's only a advisor to the felon of the United States. He's not doesn't have an official role in Doge. Despite on multiple occasions we have heard them say and even seen them tweet out, as well as like whatever they call it over on Truth Social. On top of interview, again, there's multiple videos and there's a lot of things out there that where they have said that Doge is basically ran by Elon. Elon's in charge of Doge. He's making the suggestions, the cuts, blah 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 blah. Now they're outright trying to deny it and basically say they were lying this whole time. Here's the problem. The MAGA cult's gonna eat this crap up. Let's be honest. They're not gonna really care, right? I already know the excuses are out in full force. I'm sure they got their daily WhatsApp group message update. Like, hey, just so you know, and there they go, they take off, right? And I'm sure I've already seen a few. I just probably don't remember. I don't really follow. I don't really. I'm not on really Twitter anymore. I left Twitter. I'm kind of staying on Threads and IG, despite the whole Zuckerberg thing. Uh, but like my Instagram is mostly personal stuff. I don't really do a lot of political stuff. I think I just made one story today just to say I'm live here. But I try and keep my IG political free. But my Threads, I don't follow a lot of, as it is. There's not a lot of right wingers on there, anyways. Um, a lot of the MAGA cult has started to come to Threads. I think basically trying to troll, not really look to be taken seriously. Or you got those, those Russian bots. Those definitely exist on Threads. But I've seen like one or a few comments here and there. They're saying, "Oh, Elon," and then Elon's doing this, and then they'll respond like, "Oh, actually, he's not charged." Like they just take it right away. They themselves have touted for months that, oh, Elon's going to cut the budget, save us money, and things like this, right? And then all of a sudden, the narrative changes because they're told it has to change. No longer do they think Elon's in charge of anything, right? He's just an advisor. Uh, really, ultimately, this is all just to kind of make sure Elon doesn't really face any consequences, right? That's all this is about. It's not about what's true, right? Because again, we all know Elon is in charge of Doge. Again, they've said it on multiple occasions. It's not a secret. This is just to make sure he's not held accountable for anything that happens with Doge, right? Because if you guys remember, on the campaign trail, Elon even said, right, that if Harris were to win, he could face jail time or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure he said jail time, but maybe it just been prosecution. So he was desperate for Trump to win because there's gonna be some dirty secrets about to come out, and you have to remember too, um, that a lot of the government agencies he's targeting are ones that were investigating him, like the USAID, for example. They were investigating Musk because of his misuse of funds. Right? What he's claiming he's finding is what he was doing, and along with some of the felon's other friends and family, because also USAID, uh, money was taken from there or given from USAID to Melania and Ivanka for like some events they held. But of course, they don't really know that. They don't really care to. This is how you know they don't care. Right, because if you were to bring up Melania or Ivanka and how they had USAID funds taken, right, they would ultimately either ignore it, claim it's false despite showing proof, or already have an excuse ready and made up. This is how you know they don't care, right? Uh, they'll go through any hoops they have to. They'll say whatever it is they need to. But yeah, so Sworn statement instead. Oh, let's get to part. In a three-page declaration, top White House personnel official revealed that Musk's title is Senior Advisor to the President, a role in which he has no actual or formal authority to make government decisions himself. That explanation, provided to federal court by Joshua Fisher, the director of the White House Office of Administration, seems to directly contradict the way President Donald Trump. Sorry, it says Donald Trump, but I meant Fallon. President Fallon and President Musk have spoken publicly about the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, widely seen as Musk-driven project to shrink and dismantle key aspects of federal government. Again, really the only key aspects he's really dismantled are those that are investigating him for waste and fraud. Go figure, right? Every accusation is confession with the MAGA cult, or with the MAGA, all of MAGA, from the Fallon down to the smoothest brain you can find in the cult, which ironically is not the Fallon himself. Anyways, that explanation provided to federal court. Oh, sorry, already read that. The sworn statement instead deepens the question surrounding Doge. Fisher confirmed that Musk is not the official administrator of the office, which was established by Fallon as an office in the executive office of the president. But Fisher did not indicate who the administrator actually is. So, right now, Doge, essentially, the White House is saying, oh, it's not ran by anybody, it's just there, right? Ran by a bunch of teenagers who don't know how code works. And we know this because their website got hacked. 2, they don't know how to read a sheet, right? And 3, I think 1 or 2 of them were let go by companies one was for giving away secrets, and the other was for lack of performance. That second one I could be wrong. I swear there was 2. They may have just been some, but I know the first one for sure. But yeah. So Doge is basically being ran by nobody. It's non-existent, apparently. Right? Right? This is how you know they're just not serious people at all. The technical designation does not mean Musk is not, for all practical purposes, the key decision maker for Doge, which has been staffed full of his allies. It may still ultimately be fueled by his influence in the White House. Musk has eagerly touted Doge's work, described his influence over its operations, and appeared alongside Trump to talk about its mission. Right? And right here, oh, I thought I could draw on this. I'm sure there's a way. Dang. Maybe I can. Alright, anyways. What was I? Oh, Trump himself has credited Musk with leading Doge. And he has done this on multiple occasions. Not just one occasion, not just in passing. He did it in his campaign, right? Up until the election. He did it after he won the election. And he's been doing it all year. Up until now, right? I will say Trump hasn't really, I don't think they really asked Trump about this. If they did, I haven't seen it. But anyways, it's been all over the news from Trump himself and his MAGA cult how Elon is in charge of Doge. Right? It's like they claim that's what they wanted. It's what they voted for. Right? We say, oh, Elon's not a voted official, but they always say, yeah, but it was Trump's guy and that's what we wanted. Because he's going to, run Doge. Now they're saying, sorry, he's not. But they'll buy it. They'll eat it up like, they'll eat it up like. Honestly, MAGA will eat anything they feed them. if we were to tell them to, if the felon came out and said, hey, eat dog crap, because liberals now have to be forced to smell the breath of MAGA, they would legit eat the dog crap. Like, I swear to God. I wish I was joking. But let's be honest. There'll be some people out there that would do it in the MAGA cult. Like, guaranteed. Okay. I'm going to tell Elon Musk very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education, Fallon said in a Super Bowl interview with Fox News anchor Bret Baier. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. Wow, I had to read that twice because he. Whew, sorry. But the Fisher filing suggests a technical degree of separation that raises new questions about the accountability for Doge's operations. A breakneck effort that has alarmed federal employees and raised fears about data breaches in some federal government most closely guarded database. He compared Musk's role to Anita Dunn, a senior advisor to President Joe Biden, who occupied a similar title and employment designated in the White House. Fisher's filing was delivered to the U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkin, who is weighing a legal effort by Democratic attorneys general to bar Musk and his Doge allies from continuing to exert influence on the federal government. These states say Musk has amassed so much power that he's violating the Constitution's Appointments Clause, which requires senior executive branch officials to be confirmed by the Senate. So, this is the other issue, right? So, if they're claiming Elon is just a senior advisor, he still hasn't been confirmed by the Senate, which means it's still illegal. This is why I kind of tell, like, me and my brother talk about it, and it's why I tell some people too. Like, one of the bright sides of all these executive orders. Sorry, I was checking something. One of the bright sides of all these executive orders is they can be they're not law, so they can be challenged, right? They can be challenged by the courts, by Democrats and all sorts of people, because they're not law. And he's done so many um, that the other bright side is the Supreme Court will not be able to rule on all of them, let alone take all of them. They may not even take any. He could ask them to, doesn't mean they will. They may take one or two. I imagine the birthright citizenship thing will probably go to the Supreme Court. I haven't heard much an update on that. I imagine it's probably getting there. But beyond that, I don't think the Supreme Court really touched many of these, if any at all, aside from that one, right? Um, so that's kind of the bright side, is because executive orders are not law, they can easily be overturned, stopped, removed, and challenged, right? So one of Biden's last ditch efforts to make sure this country was protected was just hiring and bringing on a bunch of judges. Uh, so thank you, Joe Biden. He knew. He wasn't stupid. People want to claim he was, but he wasn't stupid. Check-ins indicated Monday that a ruling on the state's emergency motion to silence Musk will come within a day. She seemed unlikely to grant that motion, but asked the Trump felon administration for more details about the mass firings it appears Doge has been directing across the government. A Justice Department attorney, Joshua Gardner, declined to detail the job cuts Doge has been involved in so far, despite check-in's request for he said the administration was not prepared to make a programmatic representation about what other job cuts may be imminent. That hearing check-in held earlier Monday, Gardner emphasized that all the cuts so far have been carried out by personnel within federal agencies, not by Doge officials themselves. Okay, so like I said, this is just to kind of shield Musk from any consequences. That's all. That's all the felon is doing, is avoiding any kind of That's why he ran for president again. Doesn't care about the American people. Doesn't care about anyone. He just wanted to avoid jail time. He knew he was guilty, right? He knew he was guilty. He just needed to stall long enough in order to make sure he did win, and now he's practically free, right? It's all to avoid consequences. He'll always have the felon label with them, thankfully, as well as the sexual abuser, right? But in the end, that's all it was, just to avoid consequences. He didn't care. Never did. Never did. What is this? Huh. So Basically, no official ruling, it looks like. I think she just wants more information. Yeah, did not grant immediate response to request for. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Okay, so this is just for the temporary restraining order. This restraint, the request for an order barring. Yeah, I think it's still going to go because there's still other courts too. Like it says right here. Where'd it go? Around 20 lawsuits have been filed in various federal court challenges, most authority, which have led to. Yeah, so it's gonna be tied up in court for a bit. So we'll keep an eye on that. Um, but yeah, that's the Doge update. I mean, I say that, but there's actually something else that kind of goes with it, right? Uh, so you had that, right? But let's be honest, Doge. Oh, I'll skip the item ones from, but these Doge and FAA kind of go hand in hand because remember Doge did make some cuts to the FAA, so they kind of go hand in hand. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into that. So as we know, planes are practically falling out of the sky and crashing and causing harm and all kinds of stuff, right? I'll fix something here real quick. Okay. Anyways, so FAA is planning to cut more employees, right? See if I can find the article. Oh, I'll come back to that in a second here. Where is the? I just saw it. Oops. Where did it go? Um, Sorry, I thought I had it saved. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay, so we know about the whole FAA situation going on, right? Um, they claim they were basically firing DEI hires, even though D just to give you a little reminder what DEI is. DEI just makes sure everyone has a chance at a position and can't be discriminated against, right? This doesn't even just mean people of color, right? 'Cause again, that's how MAGA takes it. They take it as like, oh, they must hire a certain number. No, for one, it's for the certain number thing. That's affirmative action. It's not even DEI. Two, DI applies to things like ramps for people, wheelchairs, automatic doors, handles in bathrooms to help people get up and out of the seat. Um, access to buildings if you're not able to walk upstairs. Those are all things like DI, right? Things that going from the street to a sidewalk. Um, like it's just making sure people have access to things if they're incapable because something happened to them, right? Veterans, disabled people, you know, like those things. But they don't care. Again, they don't care. They don't, right? So, anyways, we find out what's really happening now, right? We knew there was something going on. We just were unsure of exactly what. We had an idea. We've assumed it was to make sure President Musk gets more money somehow in his pocket through government contracts and government taxpayer money. Get the real wasteful spending, right? Excuse me. And here it is. Trump Fallon admin fires hundreds of FAA workers. Taps Musk SpaceX to review agency operations. What do you know? More taxpayer dollars headed into the pockets of Elon Musk. Are we surprised? Not really. Right? We knew something was going to be gained out of it from Musk. It was just a matter of time they finally revealed it. Um, and there it is. Now he's going to go ahead and hire people from SpaceX to look at how the FAA is run. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, as I was saying, okay, so here's the real truth right here. Musk about to get some more moolah in his pockets with our taxpayer dollars. You know that he claims being wasted away. In order to look at the, let's just kind of put this in perspective, right? The FAA was fine. There's nothing really wrong. Could it have been improved in some ways? Sure, a lot of things can be improved. But the thing, you don't break something down even further if you're trying to improve it. It just doesn't make sense, right? Like it doesn't. So, and the ironic thing is, again, they're blaming all these things on DEI, right? It wasn't until after they removed this whole DEI policy thing is when things with the FAA, especially this year, or last month, sorry, have started to kind of literally drop out of the sky, right? You had the incident with the helicopter and the plane. There was the incident where two planes crashed on the tarmac. There was the couple other things. The Philadelphia one, that happened what 2 weeks ago, right? Um, so like it's like these things were fine. They really were, but it is what it is. It's not. It is what it is, but you know what I mean. Which represents the employees stated sent a statement. The probationary workers were informed of the news beginning Friday evening through messages sent from an exec order, Microsoft email address, not an official .gov email address. Told them to see that nearly 300 people, including maintenance mechanics, aeronautical information specialists, environmental protection specialists, aviation safety assistants, and management and program assistants, received termination notices over the weekend. Past DNAS firings in its statement, citing 3 recent plane crashes, including the deadly mid-air collision between a commercial airline and a Black Hawk helicopter near Washington, D.C. last month, which there were no survivors. The union called the layoffs especially unconscionable in the aftermath of 3 deadly aircraft accidents in the past month. This draconian action will increase the workload and place new responsibilities on workforces already stretched thin. The FAA has long faced a staffing crisis, which aviation safety experts warned has engineered near miss incidents between aircrafts. The deadly plane crash near Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, in January has renewed concerns about reduced staffing as well. In a statement posted by 2X on Monday, Transportation Secretary Sean Diffie downplayed the mass layoffs. FAA alone was a staggering 45,000 employees. Less than 400 were let go. And they're all probationary, meaning they had been hired less than a year ago. 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. The FAA layoffs come as most Department of Government Efficiency, a non-governmental organization, has instituted a mass reduction. Many of those agencies regulate their own companies. Are having, I guess, raising questions about potential conflicts of interest. Some of the FAA regulates rocket launches. Yeah. Well, one of the greatest things, about this is in an interview today, Trump himself, Trump himself was like, "Oh, I just heard about that news today." Like you're supposed to be. I'm sorry, the felon. He's supposed to be. This is why I was saying in some of my TikTok videos. He's just playing president. He's not even the president. He's just playing president. They accused Joe Biden of being a puppet. Like I said earlier, every accusation is a confession. Meaning the felon is actually the real puppet, because he claimed he didn't know about this until the reporter asked him about it. He said it was the first time he heard about it. He doesn't know what's going on in his own office. He doesn't know what's going on in his own administration. Right? Like, this guy claims to know everything and be on top of things and all this BS, and he apparently didn't hear about this. It's supposed to be the felon's special advisor or whatever bullshit they made up. Nada. Right? So now Musk gets to make some more money off the taxpayers and just fuck everything up even more. That's all this is about. It's just tearing down everything so they can try and insert themselves in an even more position of power that in no way will better the American people, because again, they don't care about the American people. They've made that clear since like day one, even before his election, right? Like, his first term was very obvious that he doesn't care, right? But anyways, yeah. So now here comes SpaceX, and this let's not forget that SpaceX, they've had a lot of stuff blow up on launch, right? Like, I think we know this really too. It's a shit show. It really is. We'll see what happens there too. Yeah, it's gonna get worse. I mean, let's just be honest. It's gonna get worse. Um, like I think it was a couple days ago, there was a Delta flight that had crashed on landing in Canada, right? Something like that. Let's see. I just read that. I thought there was. There was. I just don't remember. No, it's fine. But yeah, there was another crash again a couple days ago, like yesterday or something like that, over in Canada, where a plane had landed and I don't remember the details. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh, where'd it go? Toronto. Okay, there it is. Yeah. So this happened in Toronto. The Delta plane crashed in Toronto. Oh, that was it. I don't know if I want to watch the video. I mean, I kind of do. Will I get in trouble on Twitch? Let's find out.
Oh! Oh!
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
no.
So on. Okay. So, anyways, crash at 21 with 80 people on board in the hospital. The 19 have been released as of Wednesday morning. Because that happened a couple days ago. We continue to believe that most passengers self-evacuated, no fatalities. I guess one of the bright sides, no fatalities. Everyone seems to be okay. But yeah, this is just kind of something we can expect more of, especially here in the States. Yeah. So that's kind of that, right? FAA. And some Doge updates. Oh, and just another little update here on the Doge side. So not only does Elon Musk apparently not run it, and he's as it is, he's still posting like stuff Doge has found. Oh, that's what I want to do too. He's still posting stuff his place this thing is found. Um, um, oh, so, did they get rid of the? Oh, they finally have it. Wall of receipts. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Oh. What? Wait. What is this? Consumer financial. Are these just? So these are. So none of these are like fraud. What? So this is just stuff they're claiming is wasteful spending. It's not even like fraud. Okay. I won't say that. At least they gave like, at least they have given some quote unquote receipts. Not really much receipts, but you know, it's some. I'll give them that. They got something finally. Like they first said Valentine's and then found out like, oh, just kidding. And then a lot of it's not even just. It's just stuff they claim is wasteful spending. Here's the deal. Like they not once not said how this money is coming back to us, right? They're saying it's going to save us money. But as you recall, the budget plan that was brought out, it increases the deficit by 4.9 trillion or something like that. Um because they need to pay for all these tax cuts going to the rich. So this money they're claiming they're saving, right? Let's see. No, okay, didn't do anything. Oh, oh, the heck? Why not just put? All right, I'm just gonna run that. This money they're claiming they're saving, this 55 billion. Yeah, that's not coming to us. It's, and if it was, that's like what, $100, maybe less. Like big fucking whoop. I sold a fucking NFL card for $200. Like we're spending more on this stupid government efficiency program than it is than the actual saving itself. We're legit spending more than what they're saving. Because again, it's going all right back to Musk and his and the Fallon's friends. It's not coming to us. Like if anyone really believes this is saving us taxpayer money, uh, my Cash App is the same as my username. $50,000. You can have the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll get you the paperwork and everything. If you believe that this money right here is actually being saved from us in terms of taxpayers. All right? If you really believe that, $50,000 in my Cash App, and you can have the Brooklyn Bridge. All yours. Lease and all. Promise you. All legit. I'll even write it up on screen too. There was something else with Doge too. Oh, it was the whole coding thing. So I think there was actually an article about it. Where did it go? No, there it is. 150. So Elon really believes, because he doesn't know how any programming works, right? Elon believes there's 150-year-olds collecting Social Security. He honestly believes that money is being sent to people who are over 150 years old, right? Because he doesn't know how to sort things. He just puts stuff on a spreadsheet and thinks he knows what he's talking about. Um, uh, and it baffles me that people honestly think that there are people who were born in the 1800s collecting Social Security. Not only that, the spreadsheet he shared, I wonder if they actually have it on here. They don't. They don't. Anyway, so the spreadsheet he signed or shared on Twitter uh, was also saying that there were people less than a year old receiving Social Security checks, right? Like, because that's possible. Like, I'm not saying there aren't people over 100 years old. I think I know it's less than 1%. It's like 0.3% of people that are over 100 that are currently living. And I'm sure they probably get, sure, right? But people over 150? Like, do you know how dumb and gullible you have to be if you believe that is the actual case? Pretty fucking gullible and dumb. Like, honestly. I wouldn't let you near scissors if you actually believe that. Like, do not handle scissors if you believe 150-year-olds and older are collecting Social Security checks. Just put the scissors down. Okay? Put the scissors down. Find an adult to help you. Probably find an adult to help you feed yourself too. Like, just. Anyways, so the explanation. What was it? So COBOL is a 60-year-old programming language, as well as. Oh, I just saw it. Oh, here it is. So because COBOL does not have a data type that has not have a date type, some implementations rely on instead on a system whereby all dates are coded to a reference point. Most commonly used is May 20th, 1875, as this was the date of an international standard setting conference held in Paris known as Convention du Metre. Just kind of think of it this way. You know how oftentimes if like a computer program or a computer or phone, if the dates kind of get wonky and it says like January 9th or December 1999, think of that because of Y2K, right? So the default date is set to that. So that's why sometimes you'll see that. It's essentially what's happening here because the default date is May 20th, 1875. Those dates will pop up and it'll claim that there's people who are alive, but they're really not. It's just a default date. That's all it is. If you actually knew how to which Elon has proven many times he doesn't know about how programming works. It's not the first time he's showcased this. It's probably like the fifth, sixth time. I'm sure there's plenty more times, but yeah. So as I was saying, if you really believe people over 150 are collecting Social Security, please do not use. You don't have the brain power to use scissors if you think that's true. I'm just being honest here. Brutally honest. All right. Okay. So I wanted to kind of get into the Eric Adams thing. Now the great thing again, every every accusation is confession. So MAGA always used to like to claim that we the Democrats don't care about law and order. Well, we always knew that wasn't true. The moment they were going to continue to get behind a convicted felon, all right, they don't care about rule of law, and so again, they voted for someone who was a convicted felon, and they'll even claim that it was a false conviction, right? The kangaroo courts and bias and the judge and jury was why is it not updating? Oh, sorry. I was trying to fix my thing. I thought I fixed it. Apparently I didn't. Okay, anyways. Believe the jury was compromised and all sorts of stuff, right? Now just remember that even the Fallon's own lawyers had said many times that the Fallon was heavily involved in picking the jury. Meaning two things. Either A, the Fallon picked purposely the people he knew would convict him, or B, just, again, guilty as all hell, which we know he was. Never really denied it, right? And like, he worked so hard to make sure it didn't go through. Couldn't really provide proof. Just all kinds of stuff. Right? You can claim kangaroo court all you want, but at some point, it's like, when do you sit down and say, okay, hey, not everyone can be a liar? The Fallon has a problem. Because the fact that you don't believe multiple judges that were on multiple different cases, you don't believe experts, you don't believe former Fallon cabinet members in his first term, right? You don't believe witnesses, you don't believe a jury, you don't believe attorney generals, DOJ, you don't believe FBI, CIA, you don't believe any of them. You don't believe anyone. You believe one single person, right? For some reason, this one single person who's saying everyone's lying about him, right? From judges to regular citizens, somehow everyone in between that who disagrees with Trump, you believe is a liar. Like, at one point, do you say, hey, there's no way this one person is truthful while all other 100 plus are telling the same lie? It just doesn't make sense. Like, at some point, you have to like realize like this is insane, right? Like, I just don't understand. It's always gonna bug me because like I can't even explain it. Like, it's one guy that they are so blind to that everyone else is wrong somehow, right? Like, he never admits to his mistakes, right? If he is wrong about something, he'll blame someone else, right? He takes no accountability. There's always someone to blame. He'll always find someone to blame, and the MAGA cult goes right with it. They'll blame the same person. They may not even know who the person is. He can make up a name. He legit can make up some random name that he doesn't read. He legit could just make up some random name he heard, right? And everyone in the MAGA cult would instantly start blaming that guy too, saying that guy's a liar. And this guy cannot even exist, right? This guy cannot even exist, and they would still blame that person because nothing can ever be Trump's fault. Anyways, kind of a little tangent there. So about this whole Eric Adams thing. So Democrats, as soon as Eric Adams was found pretty much committing, crimes, hello, they instantly were trying to get him out because, again, that's what you do. Someone's committing a crime, you remove him from office. It should be that simple. So what happened is, Trump's DOJ, was like, hey, we want you to drop these charges because Adams has learned the secret, right? He's learned the secret, which is Republicans don't care about law and order. If I can cozy up to the Fallon, all this goes away, right? And I feel like that's why you'll see like a lot of independents and even like one Democrat, which is crap, Fetterman, John Fetterman, kind of cozy up to the Fallon is because I personally believe, and call me conspiracy whatever you want, I personally believe they have some skeletons in their closet that are probably coming out soon, right? And they know the best course of action is to say, "Hey, I changed teams. I'm now a MAGA," because that is their ticket out of getting that is their ticket out of any um, consequences that they may face because of something they did wrong. Like that's the loophole here. I'm gonna commit a crime. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Democrats are no longer aligned with me. Now I'm part of the MAGA cult." And of course, MAGA will be like, "Hey, look at that, another Democrat, ha ha ha," and that's it. That's all it takes. Because there are majority of the MAGA cult, right? And let's be honest. Let's be honest about how many, in terms of percent, of this country is MAGA. It's probably around 35%. So it's not even half of, let alone the Republican Party, right? Because I tell people, MAGA is not Republican or conservative. They're their own group now. They have no conservative values. But majority of that MAGA cult there only care about owning the libs. What's one way they can own the libs is be like, haha, look at another one left your side because you guys are corrupt, right? Despite them legitimately accepting someone who committed a crime. Because apparently that's not corruption at all. Like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. That they'll accept anybody as long as they support their Lord and Savior, the felon in chief, right? Okay, so it was a bribery case, and there is accusations now of a quid pro quo deal, and the reason this accusation even came up is because one of the lawyers had pretty much quit because she refused to drop the case. She refused to go against her morals. She refused to go against what she was sworn to protect and serve, which is reminder. It's the Constitution. It's not the president, right? It doesn't even matter who's president. It could have been Biden again, right? It could have been Harris. People swear an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution, right? So instead of you know shifting her morals, instead of being that person, she said, "Hey, I'm not doing it," and she left. Now, there is more reason to it. So aside from that, right, because she wanted to be seen as someone with integrity, total respect. Now, do I wish she stayed because we need someone like her in there? Of course, but I respect that she wants to protect her integrity. But there's also another reason. I don't remember what it is. Someone on TikTok, there's like a lawyer on TikTok who explains it really well, of why these people are leaving the office instead of staying. Um, I think it was along the gist of, if they don't follow orders, that could look bad on, it's something like that. It would look bad on them, right? They're not doing their job, right? It's something along those lines. I may have botched it, but if I can find her, I'll definitely mention her in the next stream I do. But it's something along those lines, right? And of course, she doesn't want to ruin her integrity. Again, she basically her in her letter she basically stated that there's some quid pro quo action going on. Oh, hello. Whether it's true or not is yet to be found, right? Of course, Adams denies it, but even if it were true, let's say it were true, let's say Adams came out and said, "Oh yeah, I did it." He won't do it until he knows the charges are dropped and maybe even gets some kind of kickback from the felon, right? Because that's the game here. What is the felon going to get out of Adams in order to get the protection he wants, right? Because like I said, that's kind of the new that's the new loophole here is, hey, just claim I'm now part of the MAGA team, right? And you won't be held accountable for anything. Uh, I'm not gonna say JFK did it or Tulsi Gabbard did it. Although I will say maybe Tulsi Gabbard did. Uh, but she was also like found to not be in bed, but she was found to be working with Russia on some things and kind of cut out the U.S. ties on part of it, which totally aligns with the Fallon's views, right? Um, but with JFK, he's just a sellout. Like for starters, don't let people say that JFK was a former Democrat who turned Republican. No, uh, he officially announced his role in terms of politics was an independent back in like 2022 or 2023. So he stopped being a Democrat for a year or two, well before the election. Two, he even kind of admitted himself he would support and back the candidate who pretty much bribed him, right? Like, hey, what will I get out of you? And Harris said, no, you're not going to get anything, right? Which is something, that should be done. Where Trump was like, hey, I'll let you be this person. And, but you got to come out and say you support me. And that's basically what happened. JFK has no morals, right? RFK, I'm sorry. Um, he doesn't, right? He doesn't know anything about health, right? He claimed, like during his interview when it came to the confirmation hearing, he said multiple times during that he wasn't anti-vax, even though he's on video. He has statements, papers of him being anti-vax, right? Like, I don't get it. Anyways, who has the power to remove Adams, met with city leaders to discuss whether he remained fit to serve. Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered the Justice Department to explain why it is seeking the dismissals of Adams' case. Adams has denied wrongdoing and said he was fully committed to serving the city. Here's what to know about what could happen next. What authority does New York governor have to force out of the city's mayor? Both the New York State Constitution and the city's charter give the governor the authority to remove the mayor. Hochul, who'd serve Adams with charges, and Adams would have a chance to defend himself according to the charter. She also, per the charter, can suspend him for up to 30 days while the process plays out. Her on Monday night suggested she was considering removing Adams. Overturning the will of the voters is a serious step that should not be taken lightly, she said. That said, the alleged conduct in City Hall that has been reported over the past 2 weeks is troubling and cannot be ignored. And just to kind of put it in perspective here, majority of New York, especially New York City, or mostly New York City, agree on removing Adams. So that is what they want. And there have been like protests and stuff about him being removed, right? There have been calls from other elected officials like AOC, for example, and Jeffries, who have come out and said he should be removed, right? So it's not like this is just something only she wants to do. It is something the people want, and it should happen. At least for those voting in favor, the committee could declare Adams either permanently or temporarily unable to serve. If they did so, the 51-person city council could hold its own vote to use a majority required to make a final determination. Jerry H. Goldfitter, senior counsel at Cozen O'Connor and longtime election lawyer, said it wouldn't be viable to use the committee to remove Adams in this circumstance. The committee relates to a mayor who's either physically or emotionally unable to function. A political science professor at Pace University emphasized that either removal process through Herschel or through the committee would be a precedent for the city and could easily lead to legal challenges. It's actually not dissimilar to some of the stuff we're seeing. We kind of have it just as, All right. Adam has faced scrutiny since he was charged last September with taking illegal campaign contributions from Turkey and accepting $100,000 in travel and hotel perks in exchange for official acts. But opposition has swelled against the mayor since it just been ordered to drop the charges. The department reserved the right to bring a case against Adam later, leading some critics from us to say he has been compromised by the administration. President Fallon has said he didn't direct the department to drop the charges. Meaning he did. If he denies something, right, he definitely did. Let's be honest here. So ultimately, it's just going to come down to what happens. I want to believe he will get removed. I think he will. Whether something actually happens to him in terms of consequences, that's the remain to be seen. Just based off of how things have been going, I think nothing will happen. Right? We'll see. Could be wrong. Could be wrong, but only time will tell. Oh, excuse me. All right. So I want to get into the special elections, then we'll go and wrap up here. Okay. So there's two special elections going to happen in Florida this year, both on, ironically, April 1st. Hopefully it's not a real April Fool's joke. Anyways, so Florida's first congressional district on April 1st, and Florida's sixth congressional district on April 1st. Okay, so here are the candidates. Valamont, right? Gotta get it in there. Gotta get it in there. That's for the first district. The sixth district, Joshua Wheel. Okay. So this is my first time kind of looking at special elections, but we kind of need to kind of pay attention to these. So to kind of put this in perspective, why these are important is we can take back a little more control. Right now, the House is not as, and the Senate, they're not as Republican heavy as many will have you believe. There's only like a 2-3 seat majority, right? So, and as it is, even when Republicans did have a slightly bigger majority for the last 2 years, as we've seen, Mike Johnson struggled to get his own side to agree practically on anything, right? Many times they had to rely on Democrats to pass a bill because they couldn't do it on their own. And don't forget, there were like, before Johnson, when it was McCarthy, right? Mike McCarthy was before Johnson. There was like 20 some votes just to get him confirmed. He had to give up so much because they're so that's what I'm saying. MAGA isn't Republican. They're their own separate group. So there's a lot of Republicans out there who don't really align with them, which is why this majority that they do have is not really a majority at all. Because there are many times that they have to rely on Democrats to get something passed. So if we can win these special elections, we can take back more of of the seats, right? Oh, I forgot it was Matt Gaetz. Yeah, so if you're wondering, so Matt Gaetz was supposed to be he was put up for oh crap. I don't remember what it was. Attorney General? Something like that. And then you know, he had that whole investigation about him being a pedo essentially. And Yeah, and he can't come back because he resigned from his seat, and he's not allowed to. He can't. I think he has to wait till like the next actual election, though. I don't think he can be part of the special election. So he has to wait for the next re-election, which is 2026. But because he dropped, a special election takes place. And yeah, so if we can get these seats right here, that's two more seats taken back for the Democrats. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so right now it's 218 Republicans, 215 Democrats, right? We get those two seats, that's 218, 217. Okay. Um, and I think there's one in the Senate. I thought there was one. I thought there was three. Okay, it's just the two. All right, I was wrong. Just the two. I thought there was three. So if we can get back those two seats, right? That's an even more slim. They can't afford anyone else to resign. And it wouldn't surprise me if more people are thinking of resigning, right? On the Republican side. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Yeah, doesn't. I mean, I don't think anyone has announced that they're looking to, aside from Waltz there. Mm. Yeah. So yeah. Kind of going back to back to this real quick. Because I don't think anyone more will resign. But what this means is, let's say we get those two seats, and granted, it's probably slim, right? They're both in Florida. We know how red heavy Florida is, but it's possible, right? It's possible if we get those two seats back, right? Come 2026, Republicans can't afford to lose any seats. Let's take a look here. Oops. So there'll be 18 seats up for re-election there. We can take back the House in 2026. I think the Senate is about as small too, maybe a little bigger. But Dems can take back the House, and we can go ahead and even make it harder for the felon to push through what it is he's trying to do, right? We can do this, right? So for those that live in Florida, right, and I'll definitely get some more information. Maybe one stream I'll spend a good time on both candidates, get them out there, get them promoted. Uh, April 1st, right? April 1st. Remember that. Oh, where'd he go? Right. April 1st, 2025. Okay. We can get those. Make this as difficult as possible for the felon and President Elon. All right, get the word out. Okay, so we'll go ahead and end it there. Well, I know there's one I didn't cover. I believe it was the farmers. I'll do that one next stream. I'm gonna try and stream again, probably Thursday. I'm gonna try and do twice a week, and then try and up it to 3 times. But yeah, Thursday I'll go and stream again. Probably a little later than normal. It'll probably be after like 8:45 Eastern, probably. But yeah, so I'll be streaming again. Thanks for all that did join. And make sure you follow TikTok and everything. And yeah, I'll go ahead and hope you guys have a great night. And see you some other time.